Hey roamers, welcome back to another episode of Roaming with Rosie. Follow along as we explore Aztec Ruins National Monument, a stunning, well-preserved example of ancestral Pueblo architecture, artifacts, and culture in the northwestern town of Aztec, New Mexico. If you're new to our channel, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified each time we upload a new video. Hey roamers, I'm Jamie.
I'm Linda.
And this is Roaming with Rosie.
And today we're at Aztec Ruins National Monument.
In Aztec, New Mexico.
Yep. And we're just watching a prairie dog run across the street, so maybe we'll get some of those in the video today. This national monument is free.
Right.
Always, every day. It's free to go to. It's right pretty much in the middle of this little town, which is kind of a cool historical town here in northern New Mexico. So we're going to go check out these ruins that are from, what years they think this is from?
I think 12 to 1300.
Yeah, so that was, they think, the original builds of all the ruins in this area, although they have been changed and adapted by other people who found them over the years. But we'll go check it out.
Listen to Echoes of the Past on a self-guided audio tour of the park on your own cell phone. Stops are numerically ordered, but visitors can choose to listen in the sequence that best accommodates their experience. Enjoy the adventure as American Indian voices relate the archaeological and native oral histories.
A place by flowing waters. To Pueblo people, a place that has a story. A place where things happened that were about life, spirit, and community is simply that, place that the people think about.
People would have entered the great house here, through an arc of single-story rooms and into the plaza. From here you can see the extent of this grand, pre-planned community. Its walls still tower 3 stories tall in places. The majority of this building was completed in only 30 years. While it continued to serve the people for 200 years, its primary function may have changed over time, from community center to living space.
The Great Kiva was one of many in this community. It was a central gathering place for ceremonies and possibly community events. Archaeologist Earl Morris excavated it in 1921 and rebuilt the Kiva in 1934. Don't be fooled by the name. These structures were not built by Aztec people of Mexico, but by ancestral Puebloan people centuries before the Aztec Empire. The name Aztec Ruins traces back to Spanish maps of the 1800s. However, archaeologists have found trade goods connected with central Mexico. In 1859, geologist John Newberry was the first European American known to visit here. He found Aztec in a fair state of preservation, with walls 25 feet high in places and many rooms undisturbed. He concluded that a large population had once lived here and recorded much of the site at that time. Anthropologist Lewis Morgan investigated the site in 1878. He estimated that a quarter of the Pueblo stones had been carted away by recent settlers for building materials. A few years later, a local teacher and students dug through walls and found intact rooms, including a room with human burials and well-preserved objects. Artifacts soon vanished as others broke into rooms untouched for centuries. Not until 1889, when Aztec passed into private ownership, did the site become relatively safe from looting. In 1916, the American Museum of Natural History sponsored an excavation by Earl H. Morris. He spent 7 seasons excavating and stabilizing the Great Kiva and a few other rooms. In the 1930s, he returned to supervise reconstruction of the Great Kiva. In 1923, President Warren G. Harding designated this site as a national monument for the enlightenment and culture of the nation. In 1987, it was declared a World Heritage Site.
This is an example of the T-shaped doorways that they see throughout the Southwest. And notice how inside the walls have a different pattern than the outside. It's more intricate on the inside. This would have been where the floor for the second floor would have been. And looking up there could have even been a third story. Temperature just went down like 15, 20 degrees. This wall aligns with the sunrise and movement across the sky and sunset on the summer solstice. Now think about that. They didn't have a calendar like we did, so at what point did they recognize there was patterns of each sunrise, sunset throughout? Well, I can't even think that it's a year, that it's not a year. Who knows? But they definitely kept a calendar. So far, I definitely think that it's worth going to Aztec ruins. For one thing, it's free, but it's right in the middle of town, the city of Aztec, and there's so much to see here. And with the audio guide that you can do on your phone, you can listen to what the story is in each place, just the same as if you had a guide with you.
All of which you can see in this wall. The skill of the Chaco builders is evident in the distinctive core and veneer masonry. The strong center of the wall, or core, is constructed using rough stones and a lot of mud mortar. This technique allowed them to build taller walls than previously possible. Finely shaped sandstone on the outside, or veneer, gave the wall the beautiful finish that Chacoan great houses are known for.
I'm still attracted to this landscaping building style. Some of these beams that Earl Morris used to build his home here in the 1920s were already 800 years old. Like I said, I still really love this architecture. So this was his house. I wonder how much of this was original and how much they added on.
Earl H. Morris is believed to be the inspiration for the character Indiana Jones from George Lucas's popular Indiana Jones franchise. He was born on October 24, 1889 in New Mexico. He grew up near what became the Aztec Ruins National Monument. and died on June 24, 1956 in Boulder, Colorado. After his death, Morris was buried in Aztec, New Mexico. Aztec pottery shows Chicoan influence in the early decades. Chicoan characteristics like tapered rims and hatch designs. As much as we enjoyed touring Aztec ruins, it was time for us to head back to camp and check on Dexter. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll put a link in the description down below for Aztec ruins, and if you're not yet a subscriber, make sure and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can be notified each time we put out a new video, and make sure to leave a comment so you can be part of the conversation. Until next time, see ya.